Okay, so before we start off, if you remember in the last episode, we ended at the Darkroot Basin, where we rested at the bonfire. Now, you can clearly see that we are not in the Darkroot Basin. We also repeatedly tried to defeat Havel, but failed miserably. Well, as you can clearly see, I did defeat him and get his ring. The bad news is that the recording of me defeating him does not exist, as the recording software did not record the gameplay footage. Fortunately, the only footage that was lost was of me defeating Havel and then resting at the undead berg. So we are going to continue where we left off. So after that, we went to Firelink Shrine and we spoke with some of the NPCs around. We then met Lautrec and heard that he's going to be a bad boy later on in the game, so we decided to put him out of his misery. But in order to do that, we had to kick him off the ledge, and since we are terrible at kicking, we decided to practice our kicking. And after some intense kicking practice, we finally decided that we are ready to kick Lautrec off this ledge. And yeah, we fucked up. So we went back to kicking practice. So after very badly kicking Lautrec off this ledge, we then log out of the game and log back in order for his ring to spawn so we can collect it and equip it, since it's a really powerful ring that gives us a huge increase to our health, endurance and carry load. We then take this lift up and jump off before it reaches its destination on this ledge at Firelink Shrine. We use this helpful advice to realize that we are just terrible at this game. So we take the lift up once again, run across the ledge, and this time we successfully do the jump roll onto the other ledge, and we then decide to do some looting of some items. In particular, the Undead Asylum West Key. After that, we take the lift back up, we perform the roll, and then we pretend to be an egg, and we get a lift to the Undead Asylum. At the Undead Asylum, we are greeted by some torch-bearing enemies that we defeat quite swiftly. So after hanging a right and entering through this gate, we rest at this bonfire and come across this Black Knight, and we try to fight him in this narrow space, but since it's quite difficult, we managed to get a good backstab on, but since the space is so tight, we decide to run to a more open area to defeat him. We then see our good friend Oscar alive or well and know that the sun rays shine upon us. We then show Oscar our neat fighting skills that we learned. He then comes to join us to assist in the fight, but due to the confusion of being imprisoned, he thinks we are the enemy and begins attacking us. And even though I repeatedly tried to snap him out of his delirium, it did not work and he was finally defeated by the Black Knight. We then take our revenge on the Black Knight for defeating Oscar, and then collect the precious gifts that our good friend Oscar left us. open a door, go down some stairs, collect a rusty ring, get angry at the wall for the loss of our friend, and then, feeling some nostalgia, we decide to go and visit our old cell. Over there, we come across another Black Knight who decides to fight us in this tight corridor, and after what seems like an eternity, we finally manage to defeat him. We then collect a peculiar doll from our cell, which is clearly not ours. We remember Oscar and again get angry at the wall, and then decide to leave this very sad place. So we take a lift via our bird taxi to Firelink Shrine. So after reaching Firelink Shrine, we decide to go through the fog gate that we've been avoiding for so long and take on the Capra Demon. So after stepping through the fog gate, we are immediately attacked by a dog, and the Capra Demon tries to slash us, and we run up these stairs trying to avoid his hits and to try to take out the dogs. But since we get trapped up there, we jump down and are just trying to avoid all of his hits. This bloody dog then comes and attacks us, but we manage to take him out. So after getting rid of the dogs, we decide to try to circle back up the stairs to do an overhead slash against him. But since we suck at doing an overhead slash and we fail miserably, I then try a repeated tactic again that doesn't work for me just because I'm a bit stupid, and after failing a second time, I decide to just fight him normally by using my shield and trying to dodge roll his attacks. During this entire part here, where I do practically nothing, I'm just trying to analyze his movesets and see for an opening where I can hit him. And the shield is really helpful in blocking most of his attacks. I then come up here again just to try to do the overhead slash on him, and he does this giant slash that hits me. And on the third try, I'm finally successful at taking down some health of his. Since he's standing below the ledge, I decide to try to run up and perform an overhead slash again. But to my bad luck, he decides to follow me up the stairs. And after realizing this is not going to work, I jump down and the Capra Demon does the same. That gives me an opening for some good slashes. And from here on out, I just watch his moves and wait for him to perform this big jump and get some hits in. From here on out, the fight is essentially over, and I give the final 2 blows and end it. So after successfully taking out the Capra Demon, I rest at Firelink Shrine Bonfire, then lose connectivity to the server, and then log back into Firelink Shrine. I then find a new NPC to speak to, and after doing that, I use the shortcut to go to the Undead Parish. After upgrading the Claymore to +4, because I finally learned how to use the upgrade system for weapons. I rest at this bonfire and then decide to go to the Darkroot Gardens. This place has a really eerie feel about it, and we start by killing some plants because vegetables are bad, and then we rest at this hidden bonfire. So after resting, we decide to go through this fog gate, and we come across a new area where we have to fight these giant stone monsters. which were quite easy to defeat. This is the only irritating move that prevents you from dodge rolling. After that, we enter the building and we find the summon sign for Witch Beatrice, and we summon her because we're getting ready for a boss fight. So we step through the fog gate and essentially let Witch Beatrice do all of the work. As long as we just avoid getting hit, she takes out this boss quite easily. Witch Beatrice's attacks are super OP and really decimate the boss's health bar. And as you can see, she takes out the boss in almost no time. And that's it, boss defeated. Okay, so after that fight, we hit on top of the tower and we collect all of the stuff that is there, which is a basement key and a divine ember. And then after that, we make our way, we homeward bound back to the last bonfire, and we make our way back to Darkroot Garden. From there, we go to the Undead Parish, and from here we make our way to the bell towers where we fought the gargoyles, and we meet this oddball who sells us a purging stone, which I hear we'll need later in the game, but I don't know why we need it. So after this, we'll head back to Filing Shrine and we'll continue the next episode from there. We'll either use the key that the Capra Demon gave us, or we'll try to take out the serpent where those crystal guys were, or we'll do both. See you in the next one.